Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to this vlog. And today we're going to discuss something about routine and management for any aspirant. The aspirants can be of any level, whether they are preparing for defense examinations or UPSC or any kind of working professional who are aspiring towards any kind of career. Aspirant, by large, is a very common word and it indicates to any person who is setting a goal for a period of time and making a course of preparation for it. Now, as we know that given the limited time, given the changing times that we have in the current phase of life, things are very different. For example, we have the social media. We are a part of it, and there is no way where we cannot be a part of it. I mean, this is again a different habit challenge altogether. So, assuming that yes, you will scroll through the social media, you will be a part of a lot of music, a lot of entertainment, a lot of YouTube videos, and so on and so forth. What's best that you can do to optimize your time with the best productivity, best profitability, and so that you can meet your goal at the same time you can have a good balanced approach with your friends, with your family, and at the same time with all that you want to do. Understand one thing. Assume 24 hours is a limited phase of credit of time that we have. What you can optimize now is after you wake up, if you see the initial 2 to 3 hours of the window after you wake up is something that is fresh. You don't have any ideas in the mind, and that is like a blank space, you can say. So at this particular point of time, if you feed something to this particular mind, you will be able to retain this particular information for a long period of time. You will be able to retain this information and recreate this information without even referring for the second time or the third time. I understand one revision may be important because in the growing times, if you see that the retention power is decreasing because of the exposure to the different types of media, and it's not about the media but the exposure to electronic gadgets. So we will have to revise for at least one time before we test our attention. So the point number one is after you wake up, the first 2 to 3 hours, do not go for anything as such, like social media content consumption. The kind of content that you should consume is academic or the particular goal that you are aspiring for. For people who are preparing for defense examinations, let's say you have a theoretical subject, for example, Indian polity or Indian history or something like that. This is something you can keep at this particular one. Especially, I'm talking about the theoretical aspects. Subsequently, in this time, you may consume one pre-meal snack, you can say. For example, as a breakfast, if you have a wholesome breakfast, try to keep a pre-breakfast routine like a fruit or something like that. So this will not hamper you completely, with a sudden shoot up of sugar levels and all that, but it will keep you optimized. After this window, you can have your breakfast. In this, you have utilized 2 to 3 hours of your time in a very effective way. Now understand, the utilization of these 2 to 3 hours is far better than the next 6 to 7 hours that you're going to utilize, because the retention period, the profitability, and you can say the return on investment will be more for these 2 3 hours. Why? Because your mind was a blank space and you started feeding it with the information that you want to do, like the academic information. So this is going to be a greater return on investment. After the breakfast, the 6 to 7 hours, you see you will have ups and downs in your concentration. You will have ups and downs in your attention, and so on and so forth. So in this particular period, you can keep a kind of subject where you have some sort of practical things to do, and that could be as minimum as note making or as maximum as coding. Like for example, who are working professionals, they can do for anything that is coding and all this kind of any kind of practical stuff, hands-on experiment at this particular hour in the next 6 to 7 hours. Or if you're having something in the academics, like for SSB aspirants, I would recommend the subject of geography, mathematics to be kept in this particular, because here you will need to refer and you need to write. So the concentration strength that you will be having at this point will be slightly lesser as in the initial first 2 3 hours. So you can keep subjects like geography, English, mathematics at this particular. Now, 6 to 7 hours is by large. You can again divide. The best rule for academic approach or any kind of approach is division of hours. It's also called decentralization of responsibility, you can say. So the entire bucket of, you can say, that is a window of 10 hours. Let's say you want to have a productive window of 10 hours per day, 8 to 10 hours of productive window, and that includes maybe your anything and everything, especially when it comes to work. For working professionals, this may differ. They will only have a window of 3 to 4 hours per day, apart from the duty hours. But for others, for aspirants who are preparing for SSB, for aspirants who are preparing for anything, a 10-hour window, which is deemed to be slightly productive, is a good enough bracket. This can be kept in a bracket of 4 or 5 changed, like 2, 5, 3, or the first 3 hours, then 2 hours. That becomes the first spell of 5 hours. Then again, keep a 2 hour window in the in the evening, and 3 hours window in the late hours if you want. Otherwise, you can keep it in three-hour splits. But there should be a particular hour that you dedicate solely to your workout as well as any kind of physical activity, because your absorption of any kind of information will be far better if you do the workouts. You see, when you do the workout, you are healthy. Okay, you are healthy. You like it could be anything, like jumping jack or a basic walk or socialization with the family members or whatever it is. But there has to be something other than this that will keep the balance. Otherwise, it will become a monotonous thing, and you will burn out pretty slowly. I mean, you will burn out pretty quick, I would say. Not slowly, pretty quick. To avoid that, keep it keep the 10-hour window in splits. Redirecting to my first point, keep the first 3 hours for any kind of productive work study, any theoretical subject which is having a greater coverage of theory. It could be polity, it could be history, or for the working professionals, whatever it is. For the next three split of 3 hours or 6 hours, split into 2 halves, 3 hours and 3 hours. You can keep a kind of subject where there is kind of a note-making approach, like geography, mathematics, English, and these kind of things. Okay, geography you can supplement with map pointing, especially the post-lunch hours, because post-lunch hours is definitely a sleepy hour, and I do recommend taking a power nap. Especially, I keep it in my routine. Like if I'm a working professional and at office, I can't do. But if I'm having a off or something, or having a night shift or something, so I definitely take a power nap of at least 30 minutes to 1 hour, and that will help me. It's like a fuel recharge, you can say. So that is something you can do. In the evening, I would suggest go out. Habit of going out is important for all the people. Whether you go out in a particular park or you go out for music, do something that is other than the initial target role that you are playing. Okay, and this you can keep the workout window at this particular hour, because by the time you are a little hungry, let's say you want to have a kind of a weight loss goal as well. For example, people who are preparing for SSB, they have to have some workout regime, and if at all you are overweight or something like that, you want to cut down on the weight, this is a good window, because you're mentally involved, you're mentally exhausted. You need to replenish with your evening snacks. Again, as I said, post lunch, after 3 hours, you must have some snack. Post a snack, you can have a workout, because that will serve as a pre-workout nutrition that you have already taken. I mean, at least 30 minutes after you have taken the snack, 30 minutes to 1 hour, it will already serve as a pre-workout snack. Subsequently, you can do the workout, and it will keep you sustained for the next until dinner, assuming that you will take your dinner by 8 p.m. So here, what we see is it we are utilizing the time according to our body rhythm. Now, not every person will have the freedom to get up at 5 o'clock and take out the routine. It is a myth. Not everybody can do that, because there are aspirants who are working professionals, there are aspirants who are having college and something like that. There are aspirants who pull off late at night, there are aspirants who are having relationships. So, obviously, there's going to be a nighttime chat. And of course, there are aspirants who are gamers, so there has to be nighttime gaming as well. So, assuming everything on all the ends without banging yourself on a very harsh routine, I would say optimize your circadian rhythm, optimize your body rhythm. For example, if you see that yes, you do better with a kind of an approach that is suited to night study, where you like to be awake at night, so utilize the first 3 to 4 months, I would say, in a manner studying at night, so that you cover the syllabus before, I mean, 1 month prior to the examination or 1 month prior to any kind of routine. Now, before the written examination, you must get up early, because the examination will happen at the daytime. So I would recommend 1 month prior to the exams, get used to the routine. Subsequently, after that, you can just figure out your own approach, and before the SSB, again you can do the adjustments for the next 3 to 4 months, and 1 month prior to the SSB, put up in the morning routine. So this is how you must keep it. So, for example, if I am a night owl, I will use this to study the first go. Okay, studying for the first time is the most difficult task, because you need to cover the syllabus. Subsequently, the revisions are somehow easy, and this will also help you in avoiding taking any kind of uneventful drop, I would say. You see, for examinations like CDS and all that, it's best that you do within the college routine. It is for the college students, it is best recommended that you do within the college routine, assuming you have your college timing between 10 to 5, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So what you can do is get up at 6 o'clock, or let's say if you're not getting up. Utilize the night time, get up a little late, and then go to college. But keep the initial 3 to 2 months window completely for syllabus coverage. Do not digress from this. Do not deviate from this. Complete the syllabus and then get into the routine. Now, what is ideal routine is something that is specific to you. It is your genes, it is your body, so you will know it better. Like for example, if it was my college, so I used to get up by, if it's a 10 to 5 in college, so I had to be ready by 9:30, right? So I used to get up by 8:30 because I was always a night owl, and again, like gaming and a lot of things continue till at least 3 to 4 a.m. So the ideals, like for me, my sleeping time was somewhere between 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning, and 5 to 6 hours nap until 8:30 or 8:45, and 9 o'clock you get up, have your breakfast by 9:15 and leave for the college. By 9:45 you reach up. In this window, there were some days in a week, particularly 2 to 3 days, I used to keep for a pre-read. Let's say if I reach a college early 9:30, then I'll revise the previous day, or I'll read the material that is supposed to be taught today. It's called a pre-read, a pre-brief, and this is very important. When you study the topic first, if I am, and this is completely for the college going students, whether you're in your bachelor's or you're in your master's, you will see this is an effective hack of learning. Many a time we are not interested in what the professor is teaching. This is to develop that interest. For example, let's say if but one particular day I get up by 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 to 9 the window, I will keep 1 hour for pre-reading. Like say for example, I know that the first two periods will be on this subject, and this will be the particular chapter that will be that the professor is going to teach. So I will do a pre-read of that, even though I don't understand anything. But now when the professor is explaining me something, I will understand it much better. So this is the hack for studying. Same goes with any kind of people who are enrolled into coaching institutes. So if you are enrolled into a coaching institute, you know the professor is going to teach this, or you're going to watch an online video on this particular topic. Give a pre-read to that. Once you give a pre-read and then you start studying from the lecture or from the professor, you will understand it far deeper. The revision load will be much lesser, and these are academic hacks. So give a window of time to pre-read, then go for the lecture studying, or for the lecture watch, whatever you are there, and accordingly optimize it. So this sums pretty much about the video, I would say. And to give a revision for this, first is the first 3 hours bracket for an academic subject that is theoretically exhaustive. It could be Indian polity, it could be history, or it could be anything on that. For the working professions, it could be something different. Second, the next split, 3 to 6 hours, you split it into two halves, 3 to 3 hours. Keep a subject with a habit of note making. It could be geography, it could be English, it could be maths. Subsequently, post lunch don't keep maths, because in maths you'll have to apply your brains unless you're doing a revision mathematics. If you're doing the first time mathematics, don't keep it. If you're doing a revision mathematics, then it's okay. Same goes with English. If you're going for a revision English, revision exercise, then it's okay. But if it's a first time read, don't keep it post lunch. Okay. Then comes for the college going students, keep 1 hour as a pre-read. You can optimize your own body routine. If you're a night owl, it's well and good. If you get up in the morning, 5 to 6 a.m. is the best. 5 to 6 a.m. is the best. Go for a jog. Get the first breath of fresh air into the lungs. Go for a small walk or something, or just stand in the balcony, whatever you have. If you are a morning person, get the first hour of the wind. In the first hour of this, you can just optimize it like that. If you're a college going student, give a pre-read. Try to not take a draw for exams like CDS. Optimize within the length of the college, like 3 to 4 years, and that should be all. So here in this particular video, I have given multiple hacks for academic learning. The pre-read, the pre-brief is one. If you're having an off, the first 3 to 4 hours, you give it to your academics. And if you're taking a drop, first 3 to 4 hours, and this is valid for the first 3 to 4 months, where you're doing the academic race, like we are conquering the subject. First 3 to 4 hours, theoretical subject, and the next split is 6 hours, and then the final revision is for 3 hours. Keep the revision ratio as 2:1. For 2 days, give 1 revision. That will be an optimized. But for the complete week, you should have 1 more revision. So ideally, in a month, you should end up with 3 revisions. So the first revision in 2 days, then second revision in 7 days, the third revision you can keep it in 21 days or the 28th day, as you want to keep it. So this is about the academic utilization of time and productivity. College going students, if you're involved in the college, please participate in a lot of extracurricular activities. It's going to help you on your SSB, and it is a must. You cannot shy away from responsibilities. Take the extra load of responsibilities. You will enjoy the college in a much better place. At the same time, you will be in touch with the faculties, you will understand how business works, how project works, because when you're participating in the event, you will understand finances, management, resources, a lot of things. So this will actually help you develop in a indirect way and with a lot of transferable skills that will be utilized and reflected in your SSB in every aspect of your life, as well as in your work life. With this, I will take a leave, and you can reach me out at roysajal5@gmail.com. That is my email ID, roysajal5@gmail.com. My Insta handle is at the rate Shera underscore Romeo 2020. And this is purely a part of my voluntary service. Education is something I have always pioneered to have a voluntary mechanism. I was recommended from the Short Service Commission Technical Entry 43rd course from 22 SSB Bhopal in my first attempt in the year 2014, right after my college. I'm an engineering pass out. May 2014 and June 2014, I was recommended. Subsequently, I was medical out, so couldn't join. And by means of blog writing, since 2015, I've been mentoring aspirants absolutely free by sharing my journey. I am not a coach who can guide you for SSB because that's a job of an assessor, but I am here to share my experience and what works best as a student, as an aspirant. For the last 6 to 7 years, since 2016, I have been into the work life. I work in the private sector. I've been experienced in multiple domains on both the corporate and the core industry, and I be in touch with a lot of people around. And as far as content creation is concerned, uh, blog writing has always been a part since 2015, but since 2020, I have been into the field of podcasting and YouTube with these videos. Right now I'm exploring, and as a LinkedIn creator. So happy to be in a platform where I could share some of my knowledge and experience with you. I wish you all the very best. Be in touch with your families, be in touch with everybody. Give great respect to your faculties. They are the pioneers of your life. Be rest assured, I would contribute much, like, as a personal note, I would contribute much of my attributes that I've learned is dedicated purely to my faculties. And that is something that will always be a plus to you. Stand up and volunteer for responsibilities whenever there are calamities, because this is something that I always have a part, like be it in COVID times or right now off late when there were layoffs. I was volunteering to prepare a resume. In COVID times, we were all volunteering as in WhatsApp groups. So you must volunteer. That's the message. You must volunteer and do something out of the box, out of the profitability intent. You must do something as a volunteering aspect. This will complete you as a human. With this, I'll take a leave. Jai Hind and wish you all the very best. Take care.